She's literally in the middle. Yumi, do you have anything you want to say? Oh God. Pause for, wait. Creative process for this video is just struggling with my hair today. B-roll, B-roll, montage, intro. All the nan lights, all the textures. What up, A-fam? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kitty with Atola Visuals, and today we're going to be discussing my creative process on our latest shoot. Let's get into it. I had this idea for about 2 weeks. Fujifilm actually sent us the GFX50r, so I wanted to do some cool medium format type shoot, and lately in the studio we've been shooting a lot of natural light and outdoor content, so I wanted to do something at nighttime and play with some RGBs and light tubes and play with all the things and set up and get some new props and stuff like that. So of course my first initial step is usually to go to Pinterest or Instagram to look for some reference photos, and I found this photo. This girl was holding candles and like wax was dripping from her fingers. I saw some more where wax was dripping off someone's shoulders, and I just really liked the vibe because it was different, it was unique and interesting, and having a lot of contrast, which is something we haven't done in like a couple months here. I had a campfire video, and that whole theme was talking about using anger as your motivation, and I was chopping firewood and not being able to do it, but I kind of brought in this fire from within. I was able to chop the firewood, and I was talking about letting it go and mental health and all this stuff. I think that's also why I wanted to bring it back, because I saw these flaming fire images and I was like, I've never done that before. That's something interesting. And because we had a GFX medium format camera, Constantine mentioned that, oh, it'd be really cool to like print something big. And I'm like, oh, flaming fires would be pretty fun and interesting and just be like a funny behind the scenes shoot. So I kind of took it from there, as well as like the candle shot. We went shopping, we went to Michael's and I think Walgreens for our props and supplies. And we went to Michael's and I'm like, I need 7 wooden crates. What up, A-fam? We are now on the way to a couple of stores to get some props. I need to get 7 wooden crates, some candles, type of alcohol. What is it? Ethanol? Isopropyl alcohol and flowers. So let's go. Isopropyl. For my shoots, I like to buy props that I could actually use later or return them. Hopefully Michael's isn't watching this. Looking to cop like 7 of these. Smell like anything. There's something about me and just like wood and texture. Very versatile because you could lay them vertically, you could put candles on top of them, you could change them in different ways and stack them differently to create dimension in this shot, foreground, background. The tools for this shoot we used for camera gear, we used the Fujifilm GFX50r, we had the 80mm 1.7, we had like a 32 to 64 zoom, I believe it was. The rest were f4, there was a 120 macro, so we got some macro shots with like the wax, 23mm wide. And then for lighting, we had lots of fun with all the nan light tubes, Pavo Tube 2X, the Lupo RGB, everything was pretty much on RGB, and I think we used the Aperture 120D. And lastly, the behind the scenes camera was the Sony a7S III with 24 to 70 lens, I believe. They're nodding, so it must be yes. Yes, we have a great team. Constantine's behind camera right now. Firstly, Indica came up with really cool makeup looks. I'm not one to do different makeup looks. I literally have the same makeup every single day because I just don't want to think about it. So she brought that on. Constantine was having a lot of fun with lighting. He kept changing the lighting setups. Oh, Indica also came up with like these different poses, like these goddess poses, I think she called it. She held 2 candles in her hands and was just like vibing with it. It was just nice to have this collaborative effort from everyone. I don't even know how many, like 10 times, 20 times. But it was cool because like once we were getting really into it, he was asking Indica like, oh, what are your favorite color palettes? And she would say like aquamarine and red, and then he would try to go with that theme, or she would say red and he would take away the blue and just go with like a red, more moody color look. You could check out those photos here. Some of the things that kept the group energized, but I felt like we were really vibing and getting into flow state because I was like enjoying the way everything was looking. Indica was getting into her poses and like crawling through the wooden crates and getting really interesting things. We also had some lo-fi beats playing. Music always helps with shoot vibes as well. Yes, there was Yumi too, keeping up the morale. That's what she's here for. I'm more interested in portraits that are more unique and different, and obviously, firstly, number one, you need like an interesting subject, a really cool face to look at. Indica's got a pretty good like model face, so she did amazingly well. Secondly, I like having like shallow depth of field in my portraits and looking really buttery, also using the correct lenses. I've done portrait shoots where it's been like super wide, but typically you want something telephoto. I was shooting on the 80mm 1.7 f-stop, so things were looking really, really nice. It just like makes people's faces look more attractive. Also like lighting in portraits, I want them to look like unique. I like the more moodier vibes for portraits, and I really love the use of foreground, just having it like autofocus somewhere where you don't know what it is. So I was using the candles, I was using the wooden crates for that. For some reason, the portrait shoot went really well in the set design and the lighting, which is probably the most complicated part of the night. Honestly, we struggled with lighting the fire on the flowers. Brian did some research and he saw that Kai did some flaming flower photography, so we knew we had to get alcohol. What type of alcohol? Isopurple alcohol to put on the flowers to light them up. And I was hella nervous because one, we live in California and you know, this is just a fire-prone state. I don't want to end up in the news being like, oh, this girl started a fire because she wanted to light some flowers in their studio. But yeah, it turns out that they were really difficult to light. They weren't burning properly like how I wanted and I pictured in my head, and also from the Pinterest board ideas. It was worth a try and it was a lot of fun. And we didn't burn anything down, thank goodness. Constantine was asking me like what genre this was. He's like, was this horror or like what? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. It's kind of like a made up genre because I kind of had Indica like dressed in like black or white dress with like lace and texture. I also told her to wear like a white wig because I knew we were gonna do RGB and the lighting would have like bounced nicely on it. So it did actually work out pretty well. So yeah, a mix of like neon nature, farm, horror in one unit. So let me know in the comments below what genre this is because I couldn't put words to it.
I really wanted to get it right. Trying to find some balance in.
At the end of the day, we came up with 472 photos. I shot both RAW and JPEG and it ended up being like 57 gigabytes with the GFX. Yeah, so it just goes to show that you have to shoot a lot to get like a little bit of the good stuff. So don't be so worried that if you're shooting and a lot of this stuff isn't coming out the way you want it to. So don't be discouraged because it takes a lot to get a little bit. This one I definitely learned if I was to do flaming flowers again, I would definitely dry them out for a day and see if they burn longer. We did pretty good with safety. We had the fire extinguisher nearby. It was in a fish tank with water, so I wasn't too worried. We also have cement floors, so nothing was like burning. I learned that my team is really awesome and comes up with cool ideas, and yeah, just like vibing and having fun. I think maybe in the reflections, like when we had water on the floor, I would have wanted her face to like show more in the reflection, so we would have to have lit it more. But then it took away all the cool contrast between all the RGBs. Yes, I am very proud of results. They were amazing in person, and also like looking back on it on the computer, they looked really, really cool. There was a lot of fun colors to play with. We had like reds and greens and oranges and purples and pinks and just everything. As a creative visual person, having reference photos are very important. It's nice to see like how things are lit too when you want to do something similar. Like the flaming photos, I didn't know that it was backlit and had key light, but Constantine mentioned like it had those two elements, and I saw like when we were lighting it that it did make a huge difference. I thought it was just the fire itself creating all that lighting, but it's actually not. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think of our photos and what you guys are working on, and maybe any suggestions that you want to see us work on next. That is all. Remember to subscribe because I never bring it up. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, but make sure you subscribe here first. All right. And binge watch all my other videos so YouTube can promote me more. I'm done. Okay, bye. I'm done.